Man, good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Man, you know, First Lady got a different cut today, different look, almost like mine, huh? We welcome all of you to our health focus. For those of you who might be with the National Association of Blacks in Criminal Justice, we welcome you too on this awesome Black History Month, the first Sunday of it. We want to talk about Black people today and their health.
Their health, yes.
The situation that's there. And I put on there super health choices on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, that's really good.
I don't know if some of you all got that, but just really trying to, right now, it looks like it's a bad start for Kansas City and a good start for Tom Brady. But, you know, I know some of you might be watching the game. I got it on. We got it on 2 TVs and it's just 2 of us here. But, you know, in case we walk around the house, some of us understand that. Those of you gathered some family members, be safe.
Yes.
Stay COVID respectful.
Yes.
Whether it's a fluke or not, what we have for you today is an option because we're both going through some sort of fasting time right now as we start this new year. We're enjoying it. So we're going to show you some what we call finger foods. If you were enjoying the game, some options, because I know now if you're already down the chicken, the buffalo wings, and the
chips
and the chips, and you got the ice cream, you got the soda going. Try to stay awake because we want to help you some future choices that can really help, because some of those processed foods are really doing some damage on our people.
Unfortunately.
So welcome again. What do we have for them today?
Oh, we into it.
Oh, mommy, we can still kind of do the welcome. I'm just saying it's a good thing. We had a great weekend. We gave the people in our community free breakfast on yesterday.
Yes.
Many of you would like that. It wasn't vegetarian all the way. It was chicken and waffles for the community, but we know some of the saints slipped in there and got their, chicken and waffles also. We're not mad.
No.
We fed them good.
Yes.
The people loved it. In fact, we gave away all the things we prepared.
That's right. And they were really grateful for that. As some expressed that they're really grateful for the community service. And interestingly enough, as we talk about, the foods and what's healthy and what's not, and, we've said it before, we understand everyone is on different levels. And if you're on today, it's because you have an interest to better your health or help somebody. And so, with that, what we say is whatever we show you, we used to be there ourselves. Okay. We used to, I don't know if you ever ate chicken and waffles, but at some point I did. So we've all been there. And so, this is no judgment. This is not to shame anyone, but it definitely is a form of village to be able to help each other along this journey. Particularly, our Black and brown people, we can't continue to be the statistic in health. And, particularly we've said this already, we really started this health talk because of certain people in our congregation, particularly when the pandemic hit. And, now we're a year into this pandemic, and we can see how those numbers have gone, how many people have lost their lives, and how many Black people, how many brown people have lost their lives. And so we just continue, in our health talk, and particularly as we're celebrating Black History Month, some of the things that we'll be showing you, and in terms of like quick finger foods that are healthy that you could serve at a party, are really, really go back to our Black history roots, don't they?
They do. Way back, because we couldn't on plantation life over here, we couldn't eat a lot. So either it was the corn that you were picking to offset the pig stuff that we were giving the scraps to. So we just want to know that it's making healthy choices. And what happens is with the oils and the meat, it builds up cholesterol, and cholesterol is really hurting us. But before we go on, one more thing. Some of y'all might know First Lady got a different look, different cut today, battling with some alopecia. So tell them about that. Why you made a decision to go this route, and your hair used to be way down here. Something's not right. Something looks different today.
Yeah, I don't know about not right. It just looks different.
Yes.
So yeah, I think not the last time, but one that I think it was back in December when we did our health talk, I did share with those of you that were able to come on in terms of being diagnosed in December with alopecia areata. So that one is the one where your hair kind of falls in these circular chunks. So it didn't fall totally. It just decides randomly where it's going to fall. And so, as speaking to my doctor, and, we did labs and stuff, my labs came back pretty good, except for my iron levels weren't necessary. Well, my iron, I wasn't anemic technically, because my hemoglobin levels were up. And so if you understand that, that's great. If you don't, that's okay. But there's something else that's called ferritin, which is the iron storage. So you have a storehouse in your body that stores iron. And so depending on the level of ferritin, it lets doctors know whether your storage is really low or if it's good, right? And so mine was pretty low. And so I decided to really make some, well, we were already planning, because usually we try at the beginning of each year to try the year, or to start the year in a fast. So I felt like, okay, this is my time to, do the fast, but be more particular in what I'm eating. And so, as I shared with you guys last time, my idea was to, those of you who have heard of Dr. Sabi, I decided that's kind of the route I would go. And speaking of Dr. Sabi,
props to one of our sometimes guests.
Yes.
They're not on right now,
No.
but we were given this beautiful apron.
So it says Sabi on it. So yeah, that was from one of our
I'm sure they're enjoying the Super Bowl right now.
Church members.
Yes.
And so that's kind of been my what I've been doing now for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And what I initially wanted to do was just to go completely bald, like just start all over again, just kind of shave my head off. And then that way I'd be able to kind of monitor if my hair grows back, if it keeps falling, like what was going on with that. And so then, but my lovely husband was like, oh, well, that might, I don't know. That's, you might want to think about it, a little bit, just making sure that I wasn't like trying to make some sort of rash decision that then I would start crying, whatever. I don't know. But I said, okay, I'm going to give it a month. And so then February 1 was a month. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and I said, okay, it's been a month. I need this hair. I need this hair to go, because there have been some treatments that I've been doing with my scalp that I can happily say I'm seeing results as those bald spots are starting to grow back some hair. So I was like, well, a shorter haircut is definitely going to give me that ability to better take care of, or easier to take care of my hair and scalp. And so my barber here, I think you did a wonderful job.
Yeah, what do you say? I'll put it in the comments, man. Just say fire the barber or keep them going. I'm just saying that
I think
we took our time and it came through okay.
I think he did a wonderful job. But one of the things that I do want to say is, as we've been on this fast and just making some of those, see, you got a good job, barber. As we've been making some of those changes, I have to say that, eventually I was like, well, whether my hair goes back or not, I'm feeling great.
Mm-hmm. So that's really the key.
Yes.
That look at ourselves in the mirror, thank God for this stage of our lives, the blessings we have, and the journey forward from this day forward. So sometimes we get some things back and sometimes we move on, or when God brings them back, we have choices what to do with it. So we know that God is a restoring God.
Yes.
But he can take you where you're at.
That's right. So look, we want to know in the chat, go, or you can unmute yourself at this time if you'd like, but just kind of share with us, what are some, it's Super Bowl, but I don't know how much, how see.
I got you, Zoe.
I already got jobs lined up. I don't know how much you've been able to have gatherings, but sometimes like at birthdays or whatever. What are some of your favorite finger foods, or it could be appetizers or whatever? Go ahead and put it in the chat. What are some of? I have some I have some favorites, some that I would like. What do you?
Man, the finger foods, man, they're not so good though. Is that what we're asking?
No. This
okay.
is not about whether they're healthy or
Oh,
not.
okay,
it's
okay.
Just
Okay,
what are your favorites?
So look, y'all, when the Super Bowl come on, I like the it don't have to be the bread that way, but you know, the little hot dog with all the stuff in it.
Oh, yeah.
Munch on that.
Yeah.
A bowl or a bag of chips, like potato chips and Fritos. Fritos is the Pasco thing.
Okay.
Now, as I got, advanced in life, I kind of like, maybe throwing a little chili on that thing, So that became, and then I guess tacos and things when we go over to Whitson's, that was added later, and my Super Bowl diet got worse and worse and worse. That's all I can say. Because the pecan pie and stuff was later, the ice cream later. And then the sodas, either root beer is my favorite. I forgot what else is after root beer. Maybe, I don't know if it was 7-Up mixed with some other kind of punch. We like to mix it, but so. Oh yeah, are you right?
So anyone else that would like to write or unmute, I'm gonna go ahead and read some of them. So Tostito chips and salsa, that's you can't go wrong with chips and salsa. Green and red grapes. Okay,
that's good. That's good.
Haystacks. Yeah, I thought about haystacks too. And for those of you that don't know what haystacks are, they're basically like glorified nachos.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was going to say, even though it's not considered necessarily a finger food, there are certain like native foods where you can get that, and you can just the chip is large enough that you can take it off and eat it like that. You don't always have to eat it with a fork or whatever. But the smaller the Frito or the chip, the more you might need some help in the mouth with that.
Yeah. Someone else put sliders. And now I'll tell you this, I just recently maybe got hip to sliders. So
what exactly is a slider?
They're like the small, like they're like mini, like
burgers.
think of like White Castle.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So they're kind of like those mini burgers.
Those are good.
But people have gotten like really creative with them. Sometimes they make them out of chicken, like chicken sliders. So people get creative with those.
So we're going to talk about some alternatives to all those wonderful foods.
Yes.
And keep in mind, we know it's a transition. So no guilt here. We know it's a transition, but in case you want to know that you don't feel so good the next day,
right?
Especially if your team loses and you lose some money. I know there's nobody on the line that's going to do that, but you want to come out of that thing feeling good. And I have something, especially what happens to men every Super Bowl day. In fact, the stats show that domestic violence is the highest day of domestic violence.
Interesting.
On Super Bowl Sunday, because people lose money and people get a lot of alcohol in them and they start snapping and whatever. So a lot of wives and children like to get out the house,
right?
Go run shop. That's not funny, but shop with their other friends or whatever. Just get it. They just can't stand especially if the team loses. And so you check out the stats. So you all into sociology, check that out for that. But this is what happened. So on that, you add to that that we didn't eat our best. Now, how do we come out? Because remember what we said when we started this health thing, where we got into the fall season,
right? From
Halloween to Super Bowl,
right?
Some dangerous months, and we all been there, all been a part of that.
And done that. So, for those of you that are interested, what I did is I put in the chat our website, thevibrantvillage.org. And if you'd like to know the recipes to what we're going to be talking about today, then you can click on there and, the recipes are there. Because sometimes, when we're demonstrating and people ask, well, what was the recipe? Now, let me tell you, when I cook, I really don't measure anything. I don't. And I don't know anyone else here. You don't either.
No,
You don't either. I really don't measure. So when people try to pinpoint like what's the recipe. Then I have to sit there and I was like, oh
Make
my
us
gosh.
think, huh?
Yeah, I had to sit there and think. But this time I paid attention. And so
you did good.
Yeah. And so, so I wrote it down because then later I forget. So
okay, so we're officially at halftime. So maybe some brothers will join. If not, ladies, take notes so you can give this and pass on the good love to your husbands.
Right.
That'd be awesome.
Amen. So look,
yes.
One of the things that I particularly like, as we were sharing, favorite finger foods. And I remember when I was younger, I don't know why from younger I liked them, but I loved stuffed mushrooms. Stuffed, whether it was, not with just anything. Mine had to be stuffed with cheese, and sometimes breaded or fried or whatever. So, I loved stuffed mushrooms. So this one that I'm about to show you is kind of it's a take on stuffed mushrooms. And so I'm trying to figure out how
we're going to get the camera.
How we're going to get the
show people.
Yeah, let's
this one or
let's do it this way. And so this one is if you have clicked on the website and you're looking at the recipe, this one would be the stuffed mushrooms, guacamole stuffed mushrooms. And there isn't a picture for it yet. But that's okay because let me see. There we go.
All right. Look at the color, man. Look at the color.
Let me spotlight it. All right. Okay. So basically on these, very simple. I mean, this probably only takes like 10 minutes to do, depending on what you want to do with it. If you want to keep this recipe raw or if you want to bake it, it allows you to do both. So these are white cremini mushrooms. You could also use the baby bella, or you could, choose to use whichever mushroom of your choice. And so what I did with these is, of course, I washed them and then I took off the stems. Some people like to take like a spoon and like really clean out even like these darker spots. And if that's your jam, then, you go ahead and do that. I'm okay with all parts of the mushroom. So I don't necessarily have an issue with that. And so then what I did is I poured some lemon juice on it and then brushed them with some olive oil. Okay. Now to make it even quicker. All right. You could either make your own guacamole or you can buy some guacamole. And this one's kind of upside down. So let me turn it this way. All right. Now this is me. When you look into, your avocado, your guacamole, you're going to buy it. And those of you that see the price, you're probably like, oh my gosh, that's really expensive. I don't know, depending on what part of the country you live. But this is 1 pound of guacamole. So that's pretty good. But you want to look at the ingredients, okay? Avocado should be your first ingredient, okay? And I'm just saying that because nowadays they make guacamole where avocado is not the first ingredient. But you see the ingredient list. It's very, very simple. And most importantly, which is what I love, is that salt is the last ingredient. And so those of you that know about how ingredients are listed, you know that it's listed in order of what is the most in it. So you know that salt is the last one. And you would hope that salt would be the last one because that'd be a lot of salt for a pound of guacamole. But very simple, okay? Very simple. And so I chose this one because I'm like, oh, it's gonna be really easy. I don't have to make the guacamole. So at this point, once you have done that, then, you guessed it. It's just very simple. You're just going to take a scoop of the guacamole. You're going to grab a mushroom, and then you're just going to go ahead and, stuff it in there, right? And then you'll go ahead and you'll do the same for all of them. And then at this point, this is where I was saying it's really up to you whether you want to keep this recipe raw or you can also, do this and put it in the oven, like at 350 degrees, and, kind of bake them probably for about 10 to 15 minutes. Or, if you don't like your avocado warm, you can put the mushrooms in the oven first, and bake them at 350 for, 10, 15 minutes. Only thing is that when as if you've baked mushrooms before, or cooked mushrooms, that they get watery. And so what you'll want to do is because sometimes it's too watery. And so you'll want to empty out the water from the mushroom itself. And then put the guacamole on it. It just really depends on what kind of texture you're looking for and stuff like that. But guess what? For me, I just leave them like this, and I go ahead and I'm ready to eat these. Why? Well, we've talked about in the past that the closer to raw that something is, then you are dealing with all the enzymes. Usually the higher the heat, it'll kill the enzymes. And so you want those enzymes, because those enzymes help with your immune system. And of course, they also help with digestion as well.
So it looks like you're going to be enjoying it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is good. This is my jam right here. Very, very simple. And you can make a lot of these, and, just put them on a nice plate or tray and put them out there for people to enjoy.
Man. Good. What's the next one we got?
So the next one, I'm already showing you the finished product.
There you go. Look at that.
All right. So this next one is hummus with raw vegetables. Okay. And so, of course, with this one, you can go ahead and, whatever you'd like to do. If you want to pick up a cucumber and go ahead and dip it in there. This is bell peppers. So, I happen to like bell peppers. I happen to like how bell peppers taste better raw than cooked. Or you could do, because I'm following Sabi's nutritional guide, everything that is on here, it would be on his nutritional guide. Not all fruits and vegetables are on his nutritional guide. So if you're not following any particular one, you can slice up carrots or celery. And so you can go ahead and make this. And this is very simple to make. So again, if you're on the website, you'll see the list of ingredients. But of course, one of the ingredients that go in this is
tahini. Oh yeah.
is raw tahini, and that's basically sesame seed butter. And so this is raw. It's not roasted. Sometimes some tahini, the sesame is roasted, and then they make the butter. But this one, the sesame seeds are whole, but doesn't go through any heat. So raw tahini, and this one's organic. And then of course the other main one, I don't know if you can.
I can lift it up.
Yeah. And so then what I have in here, of course, are garbanzos. And I like putting mine in the slow cooker. And so they've been in the slow cooker on high for, I don't know, probably about 1 or 2 hours. But I make because I like to make my garbanzos fresh. So I made mine from dried garbanzos. And so what I do is I soak them overnight in some spring water, like in a mason jar. So you can do a cup of dried ones and then put in like in a 24-ounce mason jar and fill it up with water, because those garbanzo beans will double in their size. And then they're ready to go. And as a matter of fact, you could cook the garbanzos, or you could continue that whole process of continuing to put water in the garbanzo beans, like, taking out the old water, putting new water. You can do that for like 2 or 3 days, and you're gonna see your garbanzos start sprouting, or like they're growing. And at that point, you can take those and make a hummus out of that one, and that would be considered raw because you wouldn't necessarily have to cook them.
Good. Yeah. Any questions on that? This will fill you out because you're eating the plant. It will fill you up. I know some will say, you know, as you're eating your French fry, that technically, you know, if a potato is a vegetable, we talked about this today.
Yes.
What state does it cease to be a vegetable? So if you go to In-N-Out and say you got your vegetable in, that may not work, but we understand that even on Super Bowl Sunday, McDonald's and Del Taco, and because they got the party packs, and you can just hook it up and save your budget.
Yes.
Man, people could eat well, eat well. Right. So this alternative is, it's not necessarily a, you know, people like to eat this first and then get to the real food. Mm-hmm. This is what you actually make choices to live on.
Right.
And all through the Super Bowl.
And it's filling. We've talked about that before. When you're eating real food, you'd be surprised how quickly you will. I mean, it'll look like you're like, I'm gonna eat that whole plate of hummus, right? But along with the raw vegetables. But I'm sure you've experienced that when you eat like a big salad, right? You get full.
Yes.
Sometimes, you know, people can't even finish the salad. Right. I mean, yes, your body metabolizes it quicker, and then you're like, oh, but I'm hungry again. That's actually not a bad sign, because that means that your body didn't have to work hard and was easily able to digest it.
Mm-hmm. So listen, as we transition, I want them to know that this morning we got up about 8:30. We wound up in Redwood Regional Park, which is up among trees. You know, there was a certain part of the walk we could not see the sky.
Right.
That's how many trees. The forest was all over us. We were, you know, we had to measure, because we were both in this stretch of fasting, just to see. Mm-hmm. Your mother brought her put together electrolyte. What was it? Right quick.
Yeah, it was spring water, lemon juice, and a little bit of agave.
Okay, so you got that. So that was able to replenish, give you energy to keep going. Mm-hmm. We walked a total of 5 miles, just a tink bit over 5 miles today. So we came back down. So that means we got to replenish. We got to come back with some things. So your mother saw me drinking a big jar.
Yes, yes.
And she said, what's that? I said, well, it's just I made it last night, you know, because, you know, you come back, you might need that. She said, well, why don't you let them see some of that? So I'm going to show you one thing first. It's a smoothie, but I put some extra things in it for a reason. And this is what I want to show. Those of you who've been with me know it may not be all that extra, but there are reasons why I'm saying to you, your men, your son, your father, your uncle, your brother, usually after the Super Bowl by a certain age, it is so tough to just have a regular urination going to because the prostate's starting to go through some changes, and prostate issues bring fatigue. And so sometimes they say 1 in 9 men will have to face prostate cancer. Mm-hmm. They know it's connected to the foods that we eat, and they know that certain oils that are more, I forgot the term, but they're more man-made, or they're not the natural olive oil, the avocado oil and grapeseed oil. These are palm oils, kind of dangerous for men and their prostate. So just keep in mind that when you see some, even sunflower oil can go back and forth. So when you go to buy your potato chip, for a man to change, you want to find a chip that's more olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. Those are going to be the safer things, because the other ones wreak havoc on men's prostate. And I would believe those numbers are even more close together when it comes to Black men. So what I wanted to show you was one particular juice. I thought I was going to drink it up before we got on, but I'm going to show you. I was listening to one of the presentations on raw food. And so this was to really go after the prostate. So it's got, I didn't know you could mix this, so I'm trying it. That's why I don't want to tell you how I feel right now, because I said, I'm going to try that. So what I put in is, they say, well, you cut your watermelon up into like oblong, they call them finger fries. You know, you make it kind of square and long. That's for whatever they want to do. But you put it in the blender, you put in there orange, and you put in there, today I put a lime in it, right? So I squeeze a little sweetener in it. You don't have to do that because the watermelon is pretty sweet. But I use the plant agave to that. Even though we're learning maple syrup comes out of the tree if you get it pure. That has loaded with a lot of minerals. So we talked over and over, got issues with sugar issues. You might want to, dilute some of that or eliminate it, as Dr. Willie Davis and them would say. So what I did was I mixed that up, and I already drank some of the glass. And so I'm I'll give you the testimony, but here's what it looks like. All right. So what I'm saying is, on a day like today, instead of it's been sitting over there waiting for me to drink it. Got a little nice foam at the top. So this is a watermelon. I put 2 cara oranges. Why does he like that? I forgot. But anyway, it's a more of a
it's more of a
orange.
true orange instead of a hybrid.
So it's a true orange. Cara or Seville is another way they may say that. But you go to the store and buy that and blend that up. And then 1 lime, we just bought some limes today and put that in there. Now, why am I saying that? Lemon or the citrus fruits go after the issues of clogging in the prostate. It does it for everybody, but I'm specifically speaking about your man might have a hard time after eating all this wonderful blessings of food in this Super Bowl and may have these issues. So that will go in there and begin to fight some of the blockages there and allow them to reduce that prostate. But what I am going to show you now is a smoothie that'll do the same thing. All right. So here's what they're learning about urologists and studies who've gone into urology. So one of the best things that you could do for a man's prostate is kale. Now, there's something you don't necessarily have to eat, because some people eat that kale and they have a rough time, But you can also, and we've tried this, Yamada does really good at it. You can also, for your Super Bowl enjoyment, make kale chips.
Yes. And that's also on the website too, because we've done it before.
Yes. So you can, that's another way to make it, and you can season it the way you like. So you can put Himalaya salt on there, and some other kind. We've had a little cayenne, I believe, on there that helps again open up those arteries and veins. So I don't have kale today, but I just want you to know that on this research, they found that, because I'm headed to a particular place. And berries, okay? So any kind of berry, antioxidant. So we're gonna show you, I have cherries and blueberries today, all right? And some dates, but they're packed with vitamin C's. That's what get it. So the one I wanna throw in today is the one that Yamada saw me. I'm going to add walnuts and Brazil nuts. What happened? Walnuts are packed with vitamin E, and they're packed with, and zinc. The Brazil nuts are packed with zinc and the vitamin E. All right, this is what I did not know before. So adding that in, a handful of walnuts, they're doing this research and study that, again, on the Super Bowl day, you can have one of these bowls of raw almonds, the walnuts, the Brazil nuts. Just have it, just munch on them, okay? That's going to help, because the research is showing, I did not know this, that there's something in the walnut, and I have to show you Yamada, because she's more of the scientist on this thing, but there's something in the walnut that goes in there and they're studying that it can actually stop the tumor from growing. So keep that in mind. They're still researching this, but it actually goes in there and begins to stop the tumor. So one of the research I read, they did this study on men. Some men, they told eat 2 ounces of walnuts every day, and the second group just keep eating what you regularly eat. So one group, you could eat your 2 ounces of walnuts and eat your regular food, whatever you were eating. The second group is you don't eat, just eat no walnuts, just eat what you do. All right. So this research hasn't finished yet because they kind of got this going in November 2019. But some of the other studies they're building off of found that you could, it has been shown to go in there and fight some of the tumors. And that's why I'm speaking directly to the men, because I know some of the things we can eat and some of the things that slow down. It may do it to women too, but please, this is for both. And then the other one they would suggest is beans, legumes, and seeds. So the only thing we're going to put down as part of it, they do suggest that you use some hemp as part of the seed kingdom to be able to do that. So that's why I wanted to tell you. And then green tea. I don't have any green tea for you today, but that's what they've done the research on, helping out the prostate. So this is what I'm going to do. I got 3 what we call these baby bananas. Y'all seen me do this before. Okay. So this is the basis of the smoothie. All right. So that's going to go in there and kind of, give it a nice little smooth taste. I'll put it over here in the blender as we kind of do this like this. All right. So then, because I know we were on you up against that halftime show, this is what I put in here. All right. So we show that on top are the blueberries. Here are the cherries underneath, right? I've got, like she said, I don't measure, but you can measure. And then on the bottom, I have 5 dates. Open them up, pull the seeds out. They tell you to get the ones that are pitted and just pull the seeds out because those are better because the seed is still in it. You're going to get the full fruit. All right. So I kind of did this. I kind of shortchanged myself, made it, and I'm going to go ahead and put all of that. Oh, something got away. So here are the dates on the bottom. It kind of froze with the other fruit. All right. So that's what we have in there. And here's your choice. Spring water. Okay. This is what I'm using. This is straight. This is an attack straight on, you're going after the prostate. And this is one you want to get in there every single day, especially just munching on some walnuts. All right, guys, try that. All right. So, Yamada, this is what? The great hemp seed, right? That's how they meshed it all up. Now, this is, we're not telling you to roll this up after they, manufacture it the other way. Amen, somebody. We just usually, I just kind of sprinkle a little bit in there because I'm really after and this has really worked. This is what I was drinking and gave me my strength back today. And life has been really good. All right. So we usually have a little bit more than that. All right. So then the other one that they found in the Central America, I can talk about the Incas is this maca powder. Now there's one that Sprout sells that says black maca. That really is the good one. That's the most powerful one I've ever taken. But this is okay. This is good. And I'm going to take I usually use a spoon, y'all, by the tablespoon of this. Let me know if that's a tablespoon. Those of y'all watching, if it's not a tablespoon, just laugh and say, Pastor don't know what he's doing. But that's a powerful superfood. All right. It's a powerful superfood. All right. Now here are the walnuts. Okay. Packed full of vitamin E, packed full of going after the growth, the tumor growth in the prostate. And it's going to shut it down and keep it from growing. They're still trying to decide if it reverses it. So this is about it slowing it down. You got to help your male friends. Amen, somebody. Your male, counterparts. If they say they're having issues like this, one of the ways to tell ladies if your husband got to go to the bathroom and they taking a little while, not sitting down, not number two, but they are standing up and they're sitting in there and they're just kind of waiting, and you can hear the water trickle, 2 minutes later. And these are the Brazil nuts, all right, packed with zinc to heal the prostate, to begin to change some of the prostate. Now, again, we're going to say we're not doctors.
Nope.
Not the children of doctors, and you may have some cousins like we usually say, but these, all we're saying is what has helped. And I'm giving you personal experience on, I put some Brazil nuts because these are what make it nutty and make it really kind of smooth. Now, the reason why I'm halting right there is where's my, all right, so this is me, because the fruit is kind of sweet in there because we've got dates. So I just put the plant in there. I love the plant, the agave plant. And I didn't put ice because I had the fruit frozen. That'll be good enough. And we just go ahead and make this.
Okay.
All right. So here's what I'm saying with that. If every Super Bowl you make this, right? Or every gathering where you have men. I know I've got some Panamanians on the line and they like to put sorrel. Somebody brought us sorrel from the food. They just made the sorrel and brought it as we were feeding the community. They brought that over. Yes. And so this is, if you can, as we talked about, alter your budget a little bit and get some of the berries. Sometimes it's good to just put the fruit in the blender with the water and then drink that. You don't even have to add the banana or the avocados another way, but you just drink the fruit because it's going in. Then you can add, you might have heard this, but I'm trying to learn it. I was listening to something she was listening to with Sabi as I was walking through the house, and they mentioned something about this Perrier water. Do you want to explain that right quick? That Perrier water, why he was suggesting that might be?
It's a good substitute for baking soda.
Yes.
So if you're using baking soda as, in your baking, you can substitute it with carbonated water, Perrier water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of natural. So here's what I'm saying, ladies, as you make sorrel, as you make some of these other natural juices, even some of this, if you just chop up the blueberries in water or the cherries in water, you got really basically cherry juice. You just make it, this blender can make it all the way to juice, which is what this is right here. It made it totally juice. All right, so here's the thing. Then if your man is used to a little twang, a little buzz, pour a little Perrier water in it, just a little bit. It'll give it that little soda taste. Mm-hmm. Now you have a natural spring-full drink.
Yes.
That's ready to go. And that could be the drink at the Super Bowl and not some of the sodas that are actually going to hurt and damage his prostate down the line. And by the way, yours too, women. It actually hurts reproduction kinds of glands, et cetera, do your research on that part. So this is what I'm saying. The Super Bowl can be fun, but it doesn't have to be deadly. Doesn't have to be traumatic. And okay, so we'll take some of the responses, read them, and let's respond to that. So that was my thing. I just learned this about the walnut. I just said, let me share that. Throw it in the smoothie. That's what they suggest. Or 2 ounces a day is what they're trying to study. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to tell you. I just like sometimes she sees me just go grab some and just eat them. I'm just not in that zone right now because I'm still fasting. But anyway, that's what I make, and just try to make everything juice and let it go down that way, and drink a lot of water. All right. Yes.
So as some of you are already starting to write some questions or comments, if you have any questions on anything that we've covered up to this point, or maybe something that we haven't covered yet, you can go ahead and either unmute yourself or write it in the chat.
Yes. So let me respond to this. An enlarged prostate is generally happening to men by a certain age because they start losing testosterone and start getting a lot more mucus in that. There's always a combination of what we don't make it as often the older we get. However, we can now, knowing that, we can supplementally bring some things back, take the foods that will rebuild the testosterone. So because your prostate is enlarged, doesn't mean that you have the cancer in it. That's why the enlargement of it is more benign in its official scientific term. They have benign in there. What they don't want it is to become malignant. So that's why when they see it starting to enlarge, that's one of the signs of the body saying you need to kind of reverse some things and take better care of yourself. Because oftentimes the warning sign is even before the prostate enlarges.
That's right.
But you start taking a little more time trying to urinate, might start to grunt, might notice that everything's not out when you finish and you still got some drip going. This is all because we've just eaten crazy. Don't so this is reversal. I know if I got a couple of people in my family and all over who've had some struggles in this area, and they've actually trying to fight through this thing and have done so, survived it. But I'm just trying to say what I learned, we pass on. So walnuts, Brazil nuts are known. This is what they're doing a study on, to begin to go in there, give you zinc, because the prostate needs that zinc, and that actually helps reduce that. So keep that in mind. Yes.
So if you've noticed, whether you've noticed or not, but the whole point in the foods that we are, showing you, particularly, people of color, is that these would be considered in the alkaline. And so yes. When, what is alkaline? What is acidic? Another word for alkaline is base, right? So, like your citruses, if you taste them, they're more, that's why we say, oh, it tastes too acidic, where something that's more alkaline or more basic is like your water, which is neutral. But so are most fruits and vegetables. Most fruits and vegetables are alkaline. And why is that so important? Because when our bodies are in an acidic state, okay, that is when disease happens, right? So things that cause the prostate to enlarge is because the body is in acidic state.
Yes.
And any time that you do something to put your body more in an alkaline state where it should be,
that's what you want,
then swelling comes down. And so what I wanted to add to that is, we talked about this before, is autoimmune disorders. So, we talked about the alopecia, which is an autoimmune disorder, just like asthma, just like type 1 diabetes. And a lot of people suffer, unfortunately, from inflammation. Okay, so right, whether it's arthritis, women who deal with fibroids, all kinds of things. How you were talking about how the walnut suppresses the tumor. Look, anytime there's cancer, tumor, inflammation, your body is in an inflamed state. Cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. So when cancers grow, it's because your body is more acidic. So basically what we're saying is, hey, here are some ways in which you can put your body back to an alkaline state instead of acidic state. Usually things that will keep us in an acidic state are usually processed foods or refined foods.
Right.
Anytime that we go back to a more processed, refined, and meats and dairy. So all of those things aren't alkaline, they're acidic. And when we mostly consume that, because I'm not going to sit here and say, if you're a meat eater, that, okay, you just got to stop eating meat, because all of us transitioned over. But we also have to understand that there are some changes that we need to make. So even if you do eat meat, what are you, a meat and potatoes person?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you adding fruit? Are you eating salads? Are you doing smoothies along with that? Are you juicing? Are you drinking enough water, right? All of those things help our bodies go back to an alkaline state. And I had to realize that I had to, do extra stuff to try to get my body more at an alkaline state. Because when my doctor said, well, that's autoimmune, right? And so I'm understanding that autoimmunity means that my immune system is just overactive, and probably that my body is more in an acidic state. So I need to bring it back to an alkaline state. Same thing as you were talking in terms of the prostate.
Yeah, that's what you want, because so I see here that, if you made that smoothie and you put dates and pineapple, let me tell you, first of all, congratulations that it was not that it was too sweet. I get what you're saying, but you had a good date and you had a good pineapple, because oftentimes some of these pineapples aren't as sweet, and therefore the date balances that thing. Yeah. So that was really good. So, and then I saw you added the cucumber and a couple other things to actually kind of bring it down. That was a great move. That was good. That was awesome. Next time, just use less dates. Sometimes you have to just throw one date in. It's that powerful. Dates pack a lot of minerals, but a lot of natural sugar that your body can use and burn for energy. You'll find that a lot of athletes will take date shakes, right? Because they're trying to get that date sugar in, because sometimes we buy the package that says date palm sugar or something like that. So they understand the power of this, and that they haven't extracted the minerals out of it to make it look white. And so that's why that is. So you that's why I'm saying congratulations. You got a really good combination, because oftentimes we're saying, man, this pineapple just ain't cutting it today. But oftentimes we get it every now and then, we get a nice sweet one, and we say, oh, this is beautiful, beautiful. So and also the pineapple is really good for replenishing your tired muscles. Oftentimes taking that pineapple juice right after we walk. But we're, honestly, the fasting's been so blessed. We, like I said, we walked 5, and then it wasn't a straight walk. It was going up hills and, and all of that, and crossing bridges and, all back in the woods. We were really trying to find another parking lot way back in there, but we walked as far as we could go. So we came back, and as far as we wanted to. Yeah. Because it kept going on. These mountain ranges up here, you just walk to the kingdom or something like that. But so yeah, we saw people on a YouTube walk from Mexico, the borders of California and Mexico, all the way to Canada. And every day they had different things that they were trying to eat to keep their energy up. But they walked every day, camped every night just about, or walked in through all kind of weather conditions. So you can do this. Your body is made to be able to endure a lot and to be able to accomplish a lot. We're watching Tom Brady right now. Some people say, how this man doing this at 43 years of age? Exactly. Tom Brady. Exactly. You know what? Because he's on a vegan style kind of diet. I'm not sure if he got a little fish in there, but he has a special nutritionist that the other team didn't like him being on, but he's still going. And he looks like he's going to win this thing again at 43, the oldest ever age person to do that. So what I'm saying is he's whipping a little young 20-year-old. So go figure this, man. But it's what you fuel your body with. That's right. LeBron James, 36. Didn't we just hear about this? Yeah. This man takes care. He spends about $1 million a year on taking care of his body and his health. He loves that red wine too, doesn't he? But he did say, which is what you were getting to. He did say him in comparison to Anthony Davis, who's in his 20s, 27, so almost a 10-year difference. He did say that he can't eat like Anthony does. Point. Yeah.
wings, fried wings,
Right.
whatever. He's like, he can't do that
Yeah.
specifically when he's trying to, when he's playing for the season. He's
Right.
like, at my age, I can't
Yeah.
eat like that.
They were trying to ask him what was going to eat on Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And he said, I can't eat like that. I
Mhm.
can't eat all them hot wings. Or he says, I got to eat differently. So he's stepping out trying to give the message. A lot of times they don't want to come out and say natural things or
Mhm.
fruit because there's a sponsorship that puts those things on, and they don't want you to go against the beef and the dairy,
Right.
all that. So he's just simply saying, he's getting a hint. I can't eat like that. I won't eat like that because I'm in the middle of the season. If I'm gonna get my hot wings, it's gonna be after championship or something like that. So keep in mind, we just saw Serena and what's her name? Serena and
Venus.
Venus went vegan, and maybe now more raw vegan, but she found that her energy level went up and extended her career.
And she also, wasn't she dealing with lupus or some type of heart issues?
So Venus was that way. So you know what, you got to go after it, man. You got to go after it. And so we're just here. We know that a lot of men still trying to watch the Super Bowl game. So we're just telling you that are on here, give this information or make these things. The next time we go to Riverside, we go to that certain house over there with the Panamanians and whatever, hook us up with some smoothies and some excellent sorrel and some tamarindo, don't put too much white sugar in that thing, put some natural agave in there. Y'all know. So, and what your monitor shows you, some hummus and some live vegetables. Man, we'll just stay there the whole day. We'll just stay there, watch movies, party, do whatever we want. Sounds like a plan. I love it. There you go. All right. So what? That was it. Okay. Any questions? You wanted them to kind of unmute and say some things if they want another question or just want to add to it.
Otherwise, we are coming to a close.
And by the way, you can make plantain chips.
Yes,
we don't. Really good job.
We don't use necessarily the plantain, but we do use something equivalent to that, more of the burro bananas. Yes. But yes.
Yeah, so that's really good. That's really good. So you can, we have an air fryer, and she puts that in there, and it turns to a chip, and man, it's good. So there's other ways you can actually enjoy it without the processed potato chip that's in the bag. We're just trying to encourage you. We understand if you're already down the line tonight.
But hopefully you'll be encouraged, and hopefully our website is a good resource of healthy, ingredients. I don't have too many of his smoothies in there because I don't necessarily get the recipes. So we'll have to work on that. That part.
Yeah, because we got to add the hemp and the thing. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. But basically, what I do is follow Sadie's recipes. If you can Google Sadie's smoothie recipes, that's basically what I'm trying to do. And he'll give you all these smoothies that I've been trying out. Okay, that's it, man. We love you guys, man. Thank you so much. We hope that you all have enjoyed our time together. If you got any questions, let us know. But all we're just trying to do is say thank you for being a part of our presentation today. We love just telling our people, because we're into reparations. We're talking about health reparations as well as land reparations. We're talking about restoring Black health, your infant health. We try to encourage mothers who are pregnant to make sure that you're drinking good juices.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to go ahead and because some of you might be talking and we can't hear
Okay, that's all right. Man, I'm sorry. All right, some of you are talking because we had the microphone hooked up. Go ahead and unmute and share with us. Anybody?
Well, I did have a question.
Good.
Your first recipe of mushrooms made me remember a conversation I had with a dedicated vegan who questioned why you would eat mushrooms given how they're grown.
Interesting, yeah.
And it was an interesting conversation, which I had never thought of before. And I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts about that.
Well, what did they share in terms of how they're grown?
Well, because I think typically mushrooms are grown in manure of some sort. That was the he
Okay.
didn't state it. He did the
Right.
Socratic method. Well,
Right.
what do you think? Well, how are they? Well,
Right.
So I was like,
Right.
okay, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, I thought maybe that's what it was, but I was asking just in case there was some new information.
No, that was the impression that I got, that he was leading me to, well, they put manure around and that's how they grow it. And
Well, again, they put manure down to grow grass. They put manure down and put a lot of things to make them grow. Manure doesn't necessarily, it's going to come up in the plant, if that's what it is. I don't believe all mushrooms are grown like that, but that's his. I will look it up and do some research. But what I'm saying is sometimes manure it goes back to the earth and
Right.
brings energy back to the ground, that then produces the necessary ingredients for the plant to be able to get its nutrients that way. Everything's cyclical, everything goes back in. So you're not eating manure by eating the mushroom no more than you're eating the collard greens, if that's grown also too. So part of that could be.
And I'm assuming that the manure thing is because it comes from an animal. So therefore, technically it's not vegan. I'm assuming that was the. It's just like the same thought process as to why honey, is not technically considered vegan, because it's something that, bees kind of poop. So that's honey. So,
but everything is cyclical. Everything goes back to the earth. The what we put in the toilet goes to the ocean, and then we eat seaweed or whatever we do.
And I was gonna add, for the more technical vegan, manure is not the only compost.
Right.
So if wherever that mushroom is, if it was under an apple tree or an orange tree, they grow there too, because whenever that rotten fruit, whenever the fruit falls and it rots, it's compost. It acts like manure, and it returns.
But the same cow, he'll go under that apple.
But no, I know. I mean, I'm just saying yes. for the
you're right.
technical,
because poor cow can't go to the bathroom, man.
There are some vegans that are very strict,
particular,
maybe not strict, maybe particular. To which the argument would be, well, no, mushrooms don't only need manure to grow.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. It just depends. And we'll look that up and see if it's all mushrooms are grown like that. But I really thought that it was going to be that the people smoked the mushroom, or it's used for, medicinal quote purposes. But, I could understand that. And yes, I'm not one that grew up with mushrooms though. Okay. And that might have been that kind of fear, but I've learned, by the time I got to college, I loved them. And then we learned about the portobello, what it actually offers in terms of energy for athletes. So it's been good. We actually had a portobello burger one time.
That's right.
That was really awesome. So yeah, you got to learn and study for yourself, and then I always say judge or measure the impact on your body afterwards. So that's a very interesting one. I'll be trying to look all on that one. I'll be curious as to. I'm almost sure who you were in a conversation with, but we'll explore that one. Yes. Anybody else? Great. We hope that this way was to try and help you to, just live. The oil on your hummus is what?
Olive oil.
It's olive oil. That's what's on the hummus when you saw the little clear.
Yes.
And that's olive oil is good for helping those.
To cleanse.
Yes.
I mean, I just real quick. I don't want to take too much.
Testimony.
I don't want to take too much time because we're 10 minutes over, but I have to. My testimony during this cleanse is that I released so many gallstones that I didn't even realize I had. I was dealing with like really bad acid reflux, and I mean, my stomach was hurting, and I thought, man, do I have an ulcer? Like, what is going on? And particularly, I didn't have that issue until I started on this fast or this cleanse. And I mean, even to the point to where I called the doctor and he was like, oh yeah, well, yeah, yep, it sounds like it's GERD or, you know, gastro and whatever, y'all know what that stands for. But so, but his alternative was, well, you know, you could take Prilosec, you can, you know, whatever, you know, and yeah, you know, I'm not knocking that if that's the only thing that you can do in order to deal with it, you know, that's fine. But I was like, no, I can't live like this, and I can't live on these over the counter stuff. So I was like, man, I don't know what's going on. But but what happened is that I did an enema. Okay. Now let me tell you, after this enema, and I released, I was like, this might be kind of gross for some people, so I'm sorry if you're not, you know, sometimes for me, I'm not that way, so sometimes I just say things, so I'm just gonna apologize if I'm getting too graphic. But as I released, I saw some stuff floating around that I was like, that does not look normal to me. And of course, I looked it up on Google, or I asked you.
Yeah,
I asked you. Asked you, and he was like, no, they're stones. And I'm like, what?
Sometimes they'll get different colors. I don't know what colors those were.
Yeah, no, they were small and they were brown, so they were odd colored. To a point, I thought that maybe they were seeds. The only reason why I knew they weren't seeds is because I had been fasting, so I hadn't been eating anything with seeds. So I was like, well, it can't be seeds. Anyway, but when you told me it was gallstones, I got a little concerned because I was like, no, that was a lot. Like, you don't understand like how much that was. So that's where the olive oil comes in. Things like olive oil, it does a good job at softening up those stones.
So you can pass them.
Yeah, so you can pass
them.
them.
You can pay $15,000. The doctor can go in there and pull them out, put them in a jar. You can look at them and praise, you know, brag about your stones forever and ever, or you can just pass them out and send them back to the ocean. They're actually piles and tons of grease.
Yeah,
the body,
cholesterol
protecting you from getting damaged. So they store it in the gall, or sometimes we get it on the kidney.
Right.
Get the kidney stones from a lot of soda, liver. So when you take these oils, the right ones, they soften those stones, and eventually, especially you follow it by coconut, because you can drink a lot of coconut
so I've been
water.
doing coconut water. The other thing that I've been doing is really kind of like, you know, what I call my liver juice, which is, we've showed you this before. It's been the green apple, lemon, ginger. I add some pear to that. And I was pretty much doing that daily, almost twice. So the testimony is that after the enema and after the release, man, those reflex symptoms gone. I mean, like, I would say almost miraculously, that stuff was gone. And I've never experienced that.
Yeah, you get a real surge of energy when the first batch passes, and then it clears the way. But listen, like I say, all we can share is our experience.
Yeah.
And, like I said, at 65, I'm still playing, looking to play some more softball, be in more tournaments. And, a lot of the people laugh. I told you these stories before, but I just have a good time. I love my energy. I love to stay up. I love, preaching with energy and kicking things if it's in the way or whatever, jumping up and down. But that's what I do to maintain my energy. And I have to check myself if we go through a little stretch of visiting in and out or a couple other places. And, it's hard, we battle to get back. But I love what I'm going through right now, the pure state and getting more cleansed. Just encouraging you. We can do this. We can do this. Take your time, love your body, love your mind, get that clarity, and enjoy life.
That's right. That's what we're here. We're to enjoy, because every single one of you, no matter where you come from, where you are, what age, all of us have a purpose to fulfill, and we cannot fulfill that purpose if we're sick.
Right. So Dr. Curry, do you want to say a word? We'd love to see, we're glad to see you. You want to say a word for the National Association of Blacks in Criminal Justice? We're glad that everybody could join us today across the nation. We know that we don't have a lot. We know that Super Bowl is really, people trying to look at Vegas and look at that spread on the score, but we just glad we can share this and you can watch this again on YouTube.
Yes.
So welcome, Dr. Curry, you say a word before we kind of leave. Unmute. Okay, you might be driving. All right, that's good enough. All right, so praise the Lord, everybody. We love you. Take care of yourself. We'll see you on March, first Sunday in March. Go ahead, Dr. Curry. Did you unmute?
No, I did now, but yes, I
Okay.
am driving.
Yes.
It was excellent. It was excellent. I'm glad you said that we can look at it on YouTube. I need to share it with some people who were not on the phone. There were some of NABJER's members on the phone instead of video, but
Yes.
it was excellent. I look forward to the first Sunday of the month, and thank you for sharing.
All right, we appreciate you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anybody else? God, we love you all. We're here to set captives free. Set your colon free. Amen. Set your glands free. Get rid of all the mucus. We just love sharing it. See what happens. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.